Good morning, Soul Embodiment Tribe. Brigette Patton here with a message from Spirit. So this morning we're going to talk a little bit about when we have that aching, nagging feeling inside of our body that the ball is going to drop. It feels like the rug is going to be yanked out from underneath you, or it feels like even though it seems like everything's amazing in your life and things are on track externally, there's this inner feeling that's kind of nagging and pulling at you, like what you're seeing externally isn't really what it's all cracked up to be. There's something more. There's something pulling from inside of you that is possibly making you have thoughts like something bad's going to happen, or I must be doing something wrong even though my life appears to be wonderful. Maybe you have a job that you enjoy, or you perceive that you enjoy it, or maybe you have relationships and friendships that you appreciate or have gratitude for, but maybe they aren't as deep as you'd like them to be, or you're hiding a part of yourself in those relationships and you're not being fully authentic, and you can feel a little inkling in there that part of you is being dimmed, part of your light. So I'm going to start speaking more in terms of comparing our physical bodies to computer systems and the internet. It just helps our minds kind of wrap around what's happening. So when you're looking in terms of the soul and the body, it's important to understand that when we are able to look at the external and the internal at the same time, it can help us kind of understand where we're living from. Are we living more from our heart space and our soul, or are we living more from our ego and the third dimensional world? And it's actually kind of backwards. It's confusing until you develop your soul's language, you tap into your emotional intelligence, and you're able to actually start walking the path that you came here to walk. And yes, every single person came here to walk a unique path. But we all came from the same source, meaning we all can understand resonance. We can all understand frequencies and vibrations, and they're carried through in the actions that we take, in the language that we use, in the words that we write. Everything that we touch and everything that we say and interact with leaves a vibrational frequency, because we're creators, and that's how we bring source energy into the physical world. Now, what shifts the vibration of what we're leaving here and what we're creating here is our mind, because our mind is like that computer system. It's the mainframe of our vessel. And so if we have had trauma in our life, or and sometimes it's not even something really traumatizing by societal standards. It could be little things that happen along the way that create belief systems and create programming where nobody can connect to their inner being in a way that they have that trust and confidence to be able to allow for that unique expression to come through. And so when we are spending time with people, and we all do, that don't understand how to connect to source in a very deep way, we're going to develop belief systems. We're going to develop programming that prevents us from fully accessing source. It's kind of like when your computer gets clogged up because you have a million tabs open, or you have a whole bunch of programs running in the background. It's the same thing with our mind. When we have a whole bunch of programs running in the background and we're not able to clear those programs so that we can access the meat of source. And so if you can imagine a computer with a whole bunch of programs and you're trying to open Windows, for example, or you're trying to just open Word, and there's music playing in the background and YouTube's on, and you have all these other things, Facebook's running, and Word is taking a long time to load. It's the same thing with our mind. It's the same thing with our experience here. If there's a bunch of programs and belief systems running, then we aren't able to fully access source in a way that it can express itself through us in this world. And so when we're really fully immersed in the physical world and our belief systems, eventually, because there are a lot of people doing that inner work with consciousness and that inner work with source, directly with source, and have cleared those belief systems, now the collective of humanity has access to those frequencies, to those vibrations, because we're all carrying those through here in some way, shape, or form. So when that's happening, your soul is going to start nudging you. Your soul is going to start prompting you, because that's who and what you are. You are a soul in a human body. And so when you feel like something's coming, or, you know, I'm not going to get into this topic today. Maybe we'll get into it another time. But that Armageddon feeling, like Armageddon's coming, or, you know, there's going to be a revelation. Well, the revelation is that we need to be living from our heart space. And there's enough people here that are living from their heart space now to anchor that energy in. And you are one of those people. You have allowed enough of the light in. So now you're getting those inklings, those nudges, and you feel like you want to do something more. And what's preventing you from doing something more is that there's a belief system in there that says when you go to do something and you stand out and you are different, you're going to get persecuted. You're going to get ostracized. You're not going to fit in, because it's true. That is true. You're not going to fit in with the same people. Well, some people are going to evolve with you, but the majority of people you're not going to fit in with any longer, because you're upgrading. You're moving into another dimension, or you're moving into another lifestyle, or another emotional state. Truly, you're moving into an emotional state where you're able to express yourself freely from your heart. Unfortunately, what happens is we have programming in our mind, in our subconscious mind, so we can't see it. And that's why I talk about feelings all the time, because you can definitely feel it. You have to have a level of awareness so you can tap into those emotions, so you can navigate towards those belief systems that are no longer serving you. And they're all upgrading right now. The entire planet is upgrading their belief systems. And this stark contrast that is going on is what really propels the people that are still asleep into action. Because there's no room on the planet anymore for people to continue to be asleep. And the only way to wake other people up is by doing it yourself first. You can't go tell somebody to wake up. The only way you can actually make an effective shift on the planet is by shifting yourself. Yourself is your brain, your belief systems. And so when you go deep into your subconscious programming and you choose to shift belief systems to allow for those expressions to come through in a more powerful way, that's when you no longer have that feeling that something bad is going to happen, that there's my mom calls it evil forebodings. And what's precious about that is she's still upgrading, but the amazing thing is everybody around you, the ones that choose to walk with you and they see and they can feel and they trust that there's something better they feel inside of you being emitted, they will allow themselves to upgrade as well. Even if it's scary, even if they're afraid, even if it's painful. All of these things become easier because you know what the bigger plan is. You understand that we are here to anchor in our heart energy, love. And if it's anything besides that going on in your life, then that means you're too attached to the physical world and you're not allowing your source to come in. You are people pleasing. You're pleasing people, the physical world, over your soul, your spirit. And eventually what happens is contrast. Contrast has to occur in order to illuminate what isn't working. And then you can make a new choice, a new decision to act and behave differently. So what I do with people is I can actually feel and see what it is that's going on inside of someone's body that they can't see. And that's because I've been doing this work for so long, for so many years. Actually, some of us came in to this world, a lot of us, even probably your children. If you're watching this video and you have kids, I guarantee that your kids are one of the ones that came in awake already. Especially if you have children that are outside of the societal norm. Maybe they are labeled with ADHD. Maybe they are autistic. Maybe they are XYZ. That's because these children are not going to live in the societal norm because they chose to come here to create that contrast so we would find a new way, a better way. Because as parents, as mothers, as fathers, we want to be able to connect with our children. And so that's going to push us past our comfort zone to do things in a new way, in a different way. And it's going to create such contrast inside of us that we're going to not really care what anybody else thinks about us. And that's how we detach from the physical world so that we can bring forth the light. And there's no better way for that to happen than our children. And so if you can understand that we are the children of Source and there's a divine plan going on, then you have to understand that our computer software has to be able to be updated, upgraded, whatever you want to call it, moved into a higher dimension. Then we have to be able to allow for Source to come through us. And the only way for that to happen is to update the belief systems. And that also means looking at our spiritual journey in a different way. So on the flip side of this, some people are so connected to Source that they're not allowing that expression to come into the physical form. They're resisting using the ego. They're resisting admitting that they have a message. They're resisting that they see things that other people don't see. They're afraid to speak the truth for some reason. Well, I am giving you permission right now, not that you need my permission, because you don't, but sometimes it helps when you hear somebody say it. I'm giving you permission to give yourself permission to start speaking that truth from your heart space. Because as you do this, you will allow for Source to speak through you and move earth, because heaven doesn't need to be moved, but heaven will move into your reality. It will move the earthly plane in ways that you can't imagine. And the reason you can't imagine it is because your brain is only working from the past. Until you train your belief systems, your mind, until you train it in a way that allows you to receive those messages and see and hear things that others really haven't experienced in this world, you're going to need to do it in this way. Because these are the steps. There's steps. There's every level you get new abilities. And there's new rules for each level, but we're not going to get into that. So understand that if you're resisting in any way, really, truly, you're either people pleasing and you're limiting yourself to the physical world, when we really are multidimensional beings. We are connected to the universe. And if you're doubting any of this, all you have to look at is the moon and the tides. The divine always gives us messages in the physical world so that we can check if what we believe is true or not, because it resonates with nature. It resonates with the divine that is in the physical world. So if you're doubting ever anything that I'm saying and you're not sure if you should take action and take it to the next level, all you have to do is look at nature. Look at the tides and the way that the moon affects the tides. We're made of water. We're going to purge at different moon cycles. We're going to allow things in at different moon cycles. But it's not just the moon, you guys. We have planets all around us. So at all times, we are upgrading, we're updating, we're uploading, we're downloading. We're doing all of these things so that we can get into alignment with the truth of who we are. And the truth of who we are is that we are divine beings in a physical body. And until we learn our soul language so that we can bring that in efficiently, effectively to the next level, there's going to be a little feeling in your stomach like something bad is going to happen. Like, even though it looks like everything's okay, I feel like something bad's going to happen. And really all this does is it motivates our human the next time to take action. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can get ahead of that. You can get ahead of your knowing. You can get ahead of your awareness so that you can speak your truth and take those actions. And you do that by tapping into your emotional intelligence and going very deep into your subconscious mind. But you have to have those belief systems around those emotions before you do that. Because if you're trying to go into your subconscious before you understand your emotions, you're unleashing all kinds of opportunities, I'll call them, for you to experience and learn those emotions quickly. And so if you're interested in going deep and learning your emotions so that you can be that expression, reach out to me, because that's what I'm here for. Otherwise, I'm going to keep doing these videos so you guys can understand what's really happening and you can make that change, because that is what we need in this world right now. And if you really want to make the change, you've got to do it inside of yourself already. And it doesn't matter if you're a coach, a healer, a leader. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If that isn't in alignment in here, you're not serving at your highest capacity. You are not reaching your maximum human potential, because you're limiting yourself to being human. So if you're ready to take it to the next level, reach out to me. Otherwise, have an amazing day. I will see you in the next video. I love you.